my last poker question for you. Dan Bilzerian, you knew him before he was Dan Blitz,
Yep.
a.k.a. like the most popular person on Instagram.
Yep.
How's your relationship with him now, and his poker game, etc.?
And do you have any stories?
Sure.
Maybe one cool story.
I've countless stories. We traveled the world together. So it all started with Victory Poker. Before that, we were playing against each other in like friendly games like 25-50, 50-100. Because we all lived at Panorama Towers. Remember, there was a point where like 64 players lived at Panorama Towers, and I was living there for a couple of years. And so, he didn't even have social media on his phone. I helped install Twitter on his phone. Like, we were like, and I was like literally installed on Steve Aoki and Bilzerian's phone. I was installing Twitter. Like, guys, we're launching this poker site. You got to have social media. And we played a lot back then. And then obviously after Victory Poker, we still stayed close for a couple of years. Then there was like a 2-year period where he became like ridiculously famous and traveling the world. My videographer who works for me full time, I would loan him to Bilzerian to go travel with him. So whenever you see like at Liverich Media, the videographer, that was kind of our connection relationship for like 2 years, where I didn't get to see him much because he was just traveling nonstop. But I would still throw my birthday party, Halloween party, and New Year's Eve party at his house when he moved back to LA for the next couple of years. So for like 3 years in a row, I would just throw my birthday parties and all the events at his place.
Wow.
Or I would throw like a charity poker tournament for Steve Aoki. We threw it in his backyard. Like, I'd always throw my events at his house for years. And then the last year, he's been traveling a bunch. We still talk all the time, but I only see him like once every couple months if I'm catch him in LA or in Vegas, vice versa. But yeah, he's calmed down a bit this year, obviously just having a full-time girlfriend and traveling a ton. But he still plays, the Aria big game and then the home games occasionally, just when he's not traveling.
Wow. So he plays in the JRB game or a different Aria?
And to clear it up, his argument with Doug Polk, like, Dan Bilzerian is a top 5, I would say actually top 2 winningest poker player of all time, only because of a couple scenarios that I know for a fact, because I know who he won 8 figures from. So whatever Doug
and
is
that person
the most...
is...
No, he's not. That
person's me.
No, I mean, that's just awesome.
When he shows those wires for $10.8 million, like, I was in the room, and from both sides. So the absolute, unequivocally, 100% truth is Bilzerian has won 8 figures from a couple key people, and one in particular. And does he lose in the Aria game or other home games? Of course he does. I'm not saying he's a fantastic poker player, but he knows and he's smart. He puts himself in situations where he's never going to play Doug Polk. Doesn't have an ego to beat a pro. Like, when we play in home games together, he doesn't want pros there. He's smart, and he goes in and says, I want to play with fish and business guys, and he's better than them. And is he a good poker player? Depends on who you ask. But is he better than who he plays in home games with, where I've watched him win 7 figures and 6 figures countless times? Yes.
So and it's Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dan.
And it's in the mid 8-figure to high 8-figure range of what he's won. And from one person in particular, he's won the mid 8 figures from that I know of for sure, net. So that puts him in the absolute top 5 and most likely top 2 or 3 of net winners of all time from that side.
Wow.
Yeah. So did you have like the popcorn out when him and Doug Polk were getting into it on Twitter? Because I was so entertained. I was on vacation.
Me too.
And I was just like, wow, this is going down right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's great for Doug, obviously, getting that marketing. It's huge for him, and that's what he wants. A lot of times Doug doesn't want the facts. He gets mad at certain characters like Bilzerian. He doesn't want the truth part or the factual part. Like, that's why I didn't even step in or like show. I have screenshots, text, wire. Like, I know all the truth and behind the scenes. And by the way, there's 30 other pros and home game players that know it too. So it's not like it's me. It's not like a friend defending a friend. There's lots of household name poker players that have slid their way into these big home games that they know too, that how much he's won. But nobody cares to prove Doug wrong or right. Like, it just doesn't. It's irrelevant. I was surprised that Bilzerian even responded. I think
me too.
I think he's just annoyed because he just keeps poking the bear. And he doesn't understand like the whole daddy's money thing and hedge fund thing. Like those are all like legitimately irrelevant to what he's won in poker games. And the business deals that he's done, like, he's invested in some amazing things, and he's invested in Bitcoin and the Monero long before Doug knew what Bitcoin and Monero was. So it's just kind of like, it's hard because Doug just doesn't want to hear the truth. I think it's much more entertaining for him to sensationalize things, and that's how he gets his viewership. Nothing against him, like if it works for him. I just think when you're defending the honor, and he's always trying to say that he's defending the morals and honor of things, then he shouldn't be sensationalizing and extending the truth in the way he does, or not listening to the truth. Because if you're going to say you're moral on this side, you can't be immoral on the other side.
If we don't ever get the heads-up match between the two of them, we definitely deserve to at least get the cage match.
Well, obviously, Bilzerian has trained a lot, so I don't think Doug would ever do that. Bilzerian is like a workout beast.
Yeah, I could see that.
And Dan, we would love to have you on the show sometime.
Yeah,
whenever you want to come and play on the show, you are more than welcome to come jump in, and we'll have a whole day around you. The stakes you want to play or whatever. So.
Yeah, I'm happy to come play.
Yeah, you said you prefer PLO. Is that what you said?
I'll play either. I like PLO. I mean, I'll play either game though.
We'll have to make a game big enough for you.
No, I don't mind playing small and mid-size if it's just going to be for not a long night.
Yeah.
How long do you guys play for?
We do 4 hours, and then on Fridays for our big game we do 5 hours.
Yeah, I'll play whatever size you want. I'll play small, medium, or big.
Awesome.
Let's make it happen. You have a question? Any questions?
Yeah, can I play too?
Let's.
You're gonna want to. I'm gonna straddle from every position. So what do we?
Okay, you're in.
I'm in.
Oh my God! No, for real though. Maybe after the World Series we can set something up and you could come.